What's up, everybody? Just doing a quick live tonight at 7:30 on Saturday night, and seeing who's all going to drop in, and we'll leave this open for a few minutes. What's up, Iffy? Glad to have you on board. I appreciate you joining in tonight. Thank you so much. Gonna see who else. I had like 19 people sign up when I accidentally hit the go live. I was gonna wait, but decided that we would go in and go ahead and get this show started. What's up, Lance? Glad you could join us tonight. Yes, thank you guys. Thank y'all for being here. I know there's a little bit of a delay, so hopefully we'll get a couple people in here real soon. And we are going to be talking a little bit about the Manticore release and the shipments and some of the issues that we're seeing, but hopefully those machines are going to be showing up really, really soon. So that's what our agenda is going to be for tonight. So still waiting, see who else joins in. Hope everyone's having a great Saturday. I've had COVID for the last week, believe it or not. And today is the first day I've actually felt like doing much. And so I just got out. I actually went out and swung the detector for a little bit on a lot right down the road from my house, just trying to see if I can figure out this whole square nail thing with the XP Deus too. Still didn't figure out much though. So still working on that, and hopefully there's an update coming real soon for the XP Deus too. So hopefully that's going to happen in the near future. What's up, Finding with Frequency? Glad to have you on board. Thanks for joining in. I think we've got 6 people online joined in with us. Yeah, I've been seeing it all along. It's done really well in iron, but this side is really loaded with nails, the colonial nails, and those nails are they're just driving me crazy. I actually did something real crazy today. I used deep high conductor. I went and opened up the machine as much as I could, but I notched out everything up to 80. So I know that was sort of weird, but I still dug 6 or 7 non-ferrous targets off of this site. So I was really pleased that I could even still dig anything off of this site. But I'm still getting the 87s, the 86s, sometimes in the 90s, 91s, 92s. So I'm really battling that. This side I still believe has some targets in it. It's just those nails are just overwhelming them. They're just masking them too much. What's up, Finders Keepers? Yeah, 85, 86, 87. 87 seems to be 87 a lot of times for me. Sometimes I don't even go up to a 91, 92 iffy. So yeah, it's been a real challenge. And so just playing around with the machine. I really love deep high conductor. It seems like it just works better for me on this site. The first few targets, though, believe it or not, the first really good finds that I made off of this site when I first got the XP Deus 2 was an 1818 large cent and a 1778 Spanish Real that I dug using the general program. So general programs, no slouch either, but I really like deep high conductor. Yeah, I'm hoping that they fix it. So XP hopefully will have some sort of update. I'm hoping coming soon. I'd like to have it by the end of the month, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not. So still sort of waiting around for that to see what happens with that. But again, I'm trying anything and everything right now just to try to figure out if I can get rid of some of those nail signals. Yeah, well, yeah, I don't know that I've really got a lot of news other than what's been put out there. I'm gonna go ahead and jump into that. Looks like we've got a few people on. So the main thing that I'm hearing is that only 7 actually made it to the distributor. So that's just not looking good as far as us actually getting our hands on them before Christmas. Oh, hey, all right. Hey, Jerry, you got your 11-inch replacement coil today. Good, good, good. That's great to hear. I love the 11-inch, especially on the beach. Really, really good. Um, Again, one thing that I'm seeing, and I'll put this up here too, is that they're saying that only 7 of these machines arrived, and there's a lot of pre-orders, and only 7 got here. So I'm really sort of, worried at this point whether we're going to see these things before Christmas or not. I'm getting the sneaky feeling that we are not, which I hate to say that, and I'm hoping that I'm wrong. I don't really have any inside information other than I know that 7 were actually shipped out, and there were a few lucky people that got some of those 7 that were shipped, other than the testers that already have them, like Iffy on here as well. So it's just, you know, I don't know. I don't know. It's just, it's a shame because, Minelab's a big company, and it seems like to me that with you being such a big, with Minelab being such a big company, that you would have already had these things produced and already shipping out boatloads of these things. Now, there's two things that could be going on here. Um, it could be that this is all marketing, to really accelerate the hype. Only ship a few out and then, really get people sort of fired up about it, which people are already fired up about it. So I'm just not sure if that's the case. Or could it be that they had to get a lot of money sort of generated back into Minelab in order to produce extra machines? I don't know. I just don't know what's going on. But it's a shame because there are so many people that are waiting on these machines. And I hope it doesn't turn into what happened with the Equinox, where, they only sent out a few and then it was like March, April, May before a lot of people even saw those Equinox machines. So I'm really hoping that they don't follow that pattern, because if they do, there's really going to be a lot of upset people. I know I'm waiting on one. I know Calabash is waiting on one. Calabash, though, by the way, is going to have one of these machines. He should have it on Monday. So I think he's going to have it the entire week. So he's going to be testing it. He's borrowing it from a friend of ours, and he's going to be showing that machine off next week. So you definitely want to check out Calabash coming up too. Yeah. I'm looking at the comments there. Iffy, do you have any any inside info that you can say maybe about shipments? What's going on there? If you do, that would be great. So I'll let Iffy see if he responds with a comment. Yeah, I saw that, but I think that company doesn't own. I mean, it's not like a big percentage. Finding with frequency, I'll put his comment up, but Finding with Frequency said that Metal Detected NYC said that on one of his videos today that the company that owns Minelab is not doing so well. So I don't think that they're that big of a part of Minelab, but I could be wrong. I've seen a lot of conflicting things out there with that too. Yeah, a lot of people, and if he's on here, so he could probably respond to this, but a lot of people are really fired up about the display. We talked a lot about the display last week when Iffy was on here. So again, the display, here's my feeling on the display, and Iffy can sort of chime in on this too as well. I think the display is going to be great. I think it's going to help us with target ID. I think it's going to just give us that little bit extra information. But the one thing that I'm a little worried about is becoming a screen watcher. And when I have multiple targets in the ground, and I'm having to look down at that screen when I'm always used to using my ears, because your ears can tell you a lot too. And I know the tonal values are going to be there too as well. But, is it going to be more efficient having to constantly look at that screen when you have sort of a mixed signal? So, for instance, here's what I'm trying to say. So let's say you have a piece of aluminum foil laying on a quarter, and I think Tennessee Sharpshooter showed this. But what it does to that quarter signal is it drags the VDI down. Now you can look at the screen, and if you can comment on this, you can look at the screen and you can see that there's two targets down there. But you know, how many times is that going to happen? And what else is going to ring up, sort of in that circular range? Could it be a pull tab and a piece of aluminum? So I'm just worried about becoming a screen watcher, but I do think it's going to help us with target ID a lot better. So we'll see. And like I said, if he can sort of elaborate on that. So I heard that the first grouping of machines was airshipped, and then there's the next on the water. Okay. All right. That's what Finders Keepers is saying. So we'll put his comment up there. I don't know. I don't have any inside knowledge to it. I'm just wondering why they didn't go ahead and just send out all the machines in one big shipment and, get off as many as they can. When most major manufacturers, and I'll use Apple as an example, when most companies send out, release something, they're available immediately on that release date. Whereas it seems like metal detecting companies cannot follow that logic for whatever reason. And I'm sure this is probably part of Minelab's business model. Get the hype up, send out a few machines, get as many pre-orders as they can, then ship those out, and then later on sort of, get everybody else. So that's what I'm thinking. So I'm looking at the things. Yeah, if he says the screen really helps, hunt by audio always, but if it's a mixed or something that catches your ear, and that's what I'm saying too. I'm just worried I might get into a whole bunch of that where I'm spending a lot of time looking at the screen. But, again, that's something that, you're just going to have to deal with. But I really believe that the machine is going to help with target ID, definitely. Greg says, I have 6 inches of snow at my house. I put the 11 by 13 on that I just got, and I absolutely had to try it before the ground freezes all the way. I was digging lots of stuff. Great coil. I love my 11 by 13. In fact, I have it right here beside me, and you guys can see it. The 11 by 13 is a beast. I used it out on the beach the other day, and one thing that I discovered was I was digging a lot of small targets using beach sensitive, but the 11 by 13 is awesome. If you're looking for coverage and you really want to go really deep, that 11 by 13 coil is definitely going to do it. Sidebusters, he says, yeah, nobody on this side has it except the testers. Well, I do, like I said, I do know that 7 were out here. I do know one guy that's got it here in South Carolina. In fact, that's the one that Calabash is going to get on Monday. So I do know that there's some people that got them. History Seekers got it. So yeah, so there's a few people that have gotten them. I've seen them. There was a guy in Missouri that got one. I know I've seen his. So there are a few people that have them already other than the testers. But, when this main big shipment, I got even told by a dealer here in South Carolina that these machines, they shipped a few, and then there's supposed to be some really large shipment that's supposed to come at the end of next week. Now, how true that is, I really don't know. I'm just hoping that it doesn't follow the Equinox rollout. When the Equinox came out, it just would stink. NYC said his is coming next week, and that might be the case, that a lot of these are going to be showing up now. We expect them. I don't know. I'm hoping that what I'm hearing about next week, the end of next week, I'm hoping that's going to be the case. I've got one waiting on me, hopefully at the end of next week. So hopefully that's going to be soon. So what about the 700 and 900? I mean, have any of you guys ordered the 700 or 900? I'm just curious. Anybody on here? ordered the 7 or the 9. I haven't known. In fact, Calabash actually, if he said, I guess that Calico got a few. Calabash said that he called Calico, and Calico said that they've already, whatever few they got, they're gone, and they didn't know when they were getting any more in. So I don't know. Yeah, I was curious. Is anybody on here that has ordered a 900 or a 700? I'm just waiting to see anybody puts that up in the chat. And if he said that the new Equinox machines look great, thank you, Iffy. Iffy actually has one. He has a 900, I believe. So he's actually using one right now. So I'm not going with the 900. I'm going all in with the Manticore. So that's the one I'm looking at. So I'm assuming most everybody in here is going with the Manticore if they're getting the Manticore machine. Yeah, I'm just, again, I'm going to try it out. I'm going to test it, use it for a little while, and just see how it does and how it stacks up with the XP Deus 2. I really love my XP Deus 2 machine, so again, it's going to be hard for me to put down that XP Deus 2, and especially with this update coming, I'm really hoping that that Deus 2 update is really going to enhance that machine, especially in iron. So that's what I do mostly. All right, finders keepers, you're saying you love how they address the issues. Finders keeper says he loves how they address the issues and all the complaints. Yeah, the only thing that I'm still worried about, and if he sort of answered this the other day, is the weight of the machine. But everybody I've talked to says that the balance on it is much, much better than the Equinox. So I'm hoping that's going to be true. So again, the 700 and 900s, I don't know of anybody that's gotten one of those yet, and I don't know of any of those being shipped yet. So that's the other question. Here's another thing too that I was thinking about. What about the 600s and 800s? I know that eventually they're going to phase these out, but shouldn't they do some sort of price drop? Because you're only talking about $100 difference between the 700 and 900. So which one would you buy? If you're going to buy now, you would buy the 700 and the 900 over the 6 and the 8, and you're only, $100 less. Is just, I don't know. It seems like they would drop those machines a little bit more. So Finding with Frequency said he's looking for a 900 for his wife, but I have yet to see any of those, and I haven't heard anybody getting any of those yet. So that's going to be really interesting. Okay, you're saying Finders Keepers says that he's already seeing 800s on Craigslist really cheap. Yeah, everybody's trying to sell them and get rid of them. But what about the new ones? What about the stock that they have left? I mean, they're still trying to sell the 800, I believe, for $899, and the 600 I think was $599. So shouldn't they drop the price of those, because you're only talking about $100 difference between the 700 and 900. Yeah, Lance said that he's going to wait on the test videos. He said, I'm going to wait on the test videos before he commits to buy one. It's going to be significantly better for me to part with another $1,500. $1,500 is a lot of money. So yeah, I feel your pain there, Lance, for sure. Yeah, definitely, definitely. So, but the 600s and 800s, who knows what's going to happen with them. I know that if I was looking for a backup machine or a machine to have, sort of on the side, it might be a machine that I would go with. Or, if you're looking for one at a lower price point, but right now the price point isn't that big of a deal between the 7s and the 9s. So I think they need to lower the price on the 6 and the 8s and get rid of those. So that's going to be curious to see what happens there. So we'll see. All right, we got 22 people on here. Let's talk a little bit about. I know we've talked about the Manticore. We've talked about the new Equinoxes, the 700s and the 900s. The XP Deus 2, supposedly this update's coming. One thing I know that they're going to try to address is what I just talked about at the beginning of the video, and that's going to be they're going to address the issue of the problem with the square nails. So, and those of you that have followed Calabash and followed my channel know that we have talked quite in detail about those nail signals ringing up at 85, 86, 87. But they're also going to address the issue of it down averaging. So what was happening was if you got near a non-ferrous target like a quarter or a dime or whatever, a coin, and it was laying next to a nail, sometimes it would down average that non-ferrous target. So that non-ferrous target would start ringing up like a 5, 6, 7, or 8. And Calabash figured this out. He started digging some of those 5, 6, 7s, and 8s, and he ended up digging a Spanish real that way. And he knew that from testing it. And what he found out on that site was, hey, this is really the truth, that it is down averaging some of those targets when they're laying next to some of these big square nails or big pieces of iron. So we're hoping that Minelab is really going to address that. There's some other things too that I think they're working on. I've heard stories about the tones being changed a little bit to give us better tones and that kind of stuff. So the audio is going to be a little better. So there's a few things that are out there that have been sort of rumored, but I'm hoping that that's going to happen, and that's going to happen real soon. Yeah, Greg says that his buddy just pre-ordered the Manticore. Calico has 15% off gift cards plus 10% off for a YouTube code ship. That's $12.85. All right. Hey, that's a good deal there. So you guys might want to check out Calico if you're not in a rush to get one. $12.85. That's not a bad deal. Lance says, Iffy Signal said he's trying to figure out a test for Lance. Deus 2 is very frustrating with the 85, 86 square nails. Silencer does not help. That's true. I run my silencer at 0, and I leave my machine opened up. I try not to run a lot of filters because I like my machine wide open as I can get, just to give me a little better tonal nuances and a little more separation. I think the more you start adding some of those filters like the bottle cap reject, the silencer, you start messing with discrimination, all those things. I think you end up taking away from your separation capabilities by leaving it wide open. Finders Keeper says, my Deus 2 is for farm fields, beach, and super light machine for the wife, but I find more with the Equinox. Well, and hey, if the Equinox is working for you, use it. Definitely. I love my Deus 2. I mean, like I said, I love it on the beach, especially. It does extremely well on saltwater beaches. So I love that 13-inch coil that I just got. I love the 11 on the beach. A lot of depth, really works well on the beach. And I love swinging it because it's so lightweight. I have my 11-inch coil and my 13-inch coil set up with the WS6 Master. And that's, one of the lightest setups that you can have. When you take off that puck or you take off the RC, you're talking about a machine less than 2 pounds with the 11-inch coil. With the 13-inch coil, it may be a little more than that, but you're talking about a very, very light machine. And I've never swung a 13-inch coil that felt as light as this machine feels. So again, XP machines on the beach just done very, very well for me. So yeah, you're saying you had many hours on the 800 and limited on the Deus 2. And that's fair. That's fair. Sure. I love my Equinox. In fact, if you talk to Calabash, you'll find out it took a lot to pry my Deus out of my hands to make me start using the Equinox. And then I finally started using the Equinox, but then we discovered that we sort of needed both machines when we went into some of these relic sites, because the Deus was much better in iron, but the Equinox was better as far as an open field or an open area where we were hunting, and we could find depth, and we got those real crisp, clear signals too. So it became, we were carrying around two machines. In fact, I lugged both of those machines for 3 miles on a hunt that I did back in 2020, strapped to my backpack. And, both of those machines performed very, very well. But I would always go back, and I found out that using both machines was helping me. So using both machines was really good. And we may end up with a situation like that again. We may find that we need the Manticore and the Deus to use on some sites. So that could be something that's going to happen as well. Northwest Outdoors says, I have a trashy end of my test garden. The Deus 2 was great in there. I'm really looking at getting to know this machine. Very good, Northwest. It is. It's an awesome machine in trash. And I think, and I don't know this, but I think it's really, really good in modern trash. So yeah, I haven't really hunted a lot in parks or anything with it, because that's not my thing to go into parks and hunt for coins. But I've heard really good things about it in modern trash. I know Paystreet uses them, so you can watch his videos. But in modern trash, I've heard the D2 is really well as well. Does very well there as well. Oh yeah. So yeah. And I'll tell you, you can notch out a couple of things too. It can make your life a lot better in those trashy parks. So definitely check those out. Yes, definitely. 2D. Oh, you're talking about 2D on your Manticore. Oh, okay. Great, Northwest. I thought you were talking about the Deus too. I'm sorry. So yeah, the 2D screen on the Manticore, I think that's going to help out. I think it's actually going to be better in iron, but that's what I'm waiting to see. Yes, that's what I'm waiting to see. So yeah, when we get our hands on that and start looking at that screen, that's really going to tell. I think what we're going to find is that there's going to be tendencies where that Manticore is really going to help us. And then we're going to figure out what those tendencies are with that screen. And then once we figure those tendencies out, then we're going to know how to best use that machine. I think that's what's going to end up happening. And we may end up being in the situation where we're carrying two machines, the Manticore and the Deus 2, because we may find that the Manticore does some things really, really well in certain situations that the Deus 2 doesn't, and the Deus 2 does some things really, really well that the Manticore doesn't. So I think that's where we're headed, but we'll see, because like I said, until I get this machine in my hands, and until XP releases their update, there's a lot to be said that's going to happen over the next few months, especially. All right, Greg says he digs 200 to 300 holes. Wow, Greg, on a hunt, usually 10 to 20 nails depending on the site, but that's okay. They all do it. Yeah, sure. We're all going to do those things. The extra sensitivity, definitely. Sidebuster says, I'm hoping the extra sensitivity doesn't create a lot of EMI issues. And that was the one thing that I brought up. I don't know how many of you guys, I'm going to put this up here. I don't know how many of you guys saw my video the other day. And if he's still on here, he can attest to this. But EMI mitigation is going to be huge on this machine. And I think that's one of the strong points of this machine. At one point, we were all talking about silent EMI. With I think this machine running in these multi-frequency programs is going to do really, really well dealing with EMI. And I know that Tom Danowski on Danowski's forum, NASA Tom, for you guys that know him, has really spoke really highly about EMI mitigation and how that's one of the standout features of the Manticore. So, if you're under power lines or you're near phone lines, cable lines, those types of things, then I think what you're going to see is you're going to see that machine perform really, really well. You won't have to switch into a single frequency to use this machine. Now, I'm not saying it gets rid of EMI altogether because I think multi-frequency is just plagued by EMI. Also, there are more channels on this machine as well. Iffy Mike can speak to this. Yeah, Iffy's brought up a good point about the XP. I'm gonna put that up in a second. Iffy, there are nine. I think I saw this. There are 19 channels that thing cycles through when you do a noise cancel, and the longer you press on it, the more it can zero in on a channel. Is that correct? I mean, you can answer that for me if you don't mind. Hey, Mike, what's going on, Michael? Yeah, we're having a great conversation tonight about the Manticore and about the XP Deus too. I'm waiting on Iffy to respond. So while I'm waiting on Iffy to respond, Iffy had a great comment just a second ago. XP is not even at version 1. Now think about this, guys. This machine has just been released. So it's not even on version 1. I don't think XP designed this machine not to be able to do major updates as it goes through its cycle. Plus, it's got a 5-year warranty on it. So again, they're not even on version 1. So when this next update comes out, it's going to be, I think it's going to be substantial, but we'll see. So if he's exactly right. Yeah, Iffy, there you go, Iffy. Thank you so much. So Iffy says what I just told. If you hold it down, it keeps searching and it handles EMI very, very well. Iffy, I think I saw it had 19 channels, I think that it searched through. That's a lot more than a lot of other metal detectors. So it picks out, I think it starts narrowing it down to like the top 3, and then it picks out one the longer you hold it. I'm not sure about that. So let's see here. That's what I looked on Tennessee's video the other day. Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, Sharpshooter's done a very, very good job of showing a lot of things with the Manticore. So you might want to check his channel out. And again, if he's done tons and tons of things with the Manticore, so he can speak to that. If he says that I have an open format screen on the Deus too, they could add a screen like that. They have the XY already, right? So I think they could too. I said this to Calabash that I thought that maybe they could come up with a screen that's actually going to be able to sort of give some sort of ID with a graph. So I'm not real sure, but of course they've got the XY screen, and I use that occasionally, but not very often. Yeah, Michael says, I think the XP, I think the Deus 2 update will be a great one. Me too, Michael. I sure do. I believe that as well. Finders Keepers says, I find the Deus 2 to be a very interesting machine. I'm just not a big fan of the up averaging on full, but no machine is perfect. And again, I don't know how many of you have watched some of the tests that Tennessee Sharpshooter's done, and some of the tests and some of the things that Iffy's shown, that the Manticore up averages rather than down averages. Right now, the Deus 2 is down averaging, that's definitely not good. You're more than likely to dig a target that's up averaging than you are a target that's down averaging, especially when it's down averaging in the iron. So, that's going to be a good thing going on if they can figure out how to fix it, which I think they will. Definitely, definitely. Yeah, if he says, and I'm going to put this up here too, he said that the Manticore will report on as many targets as it sees in the ground. So there you go. So there's going to be a lot on that screen. That if you can speak to this too, or the trace that you notice on the machine, and that trace can definitely tell you how big or how large a target is. Of course, normally we use our ears to hear that. You can tell when a target is big because it's louder normally. But on this machine, you'll be able to look and see that trace that's left on the screen, which should tell what the size of the target is and what sort of shape that target is. Of course, most of you know from the videos that that target's going to show up if it's a coin. Naturally, it's going to show up as a small black dot on that screen and more over to the right and in the center of the screen as well. So what's up? I'm going to give a couple of shout outs. Shout out to Jimmy Crossbones. Shout out to Iffy, who's been on here with us. Shout out to Finding with Frequency. Thank you guys. Shout out to Northwest Outdoors and Collectibles. Appreciate you. And a shout out to Lance and Michael Coley, who was on here. So we appreciate you guys. Finders Keepers, shout out to you, buddy. Thanks for being here tonight. We're just doing a little chat. Sidebusters Metal Detecting, shout out to you. Mandy Brown, thank you for joining in. Thanks for all the great comments too, Mandy, you leave on my channel. Greg Gustum, thank you for joining in. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for all the great comments. Let's see here. Finding with Frequency, always awesome to see you, buddy. Thanks for all the great comments too you leave on my channel. Again, I appreciate all of you being here tonight, and thanks especially to Iffy for joining in with me too. I appreciate that. There's Detector 2 Guns. Hey, Detector 2 Guns, glad to have you. That's what we've been talking about so far. Nobody really knows. We've heard stories and rumors. Maybe next week we're going to see these things at the end of the week, but nobody really knows at this point. Yes, very slowly. That's Northwest Outdoors is all on it. Very slowly, very slowly. So anyway, I just wanted to hop on here. We've got 24 people on and talk a little bit about the Manticore if he's on here too. So if you got a question, you can definitely leave it over in the chat. And also talk about the XP Deus 2. So one thing too I wanted to talk about with the XP Deus 2 tonight is the WS6 Master. I don't know if many of you have tried that WS6 Master, but it is awesome. It makes that machine so much lighter. So, if you haven't tried it, give it a shot, give it a try. And I think you'll enjoy it because it definitely is very, very intuitive. It gives you all the information that you would get with the regular RC. And I have it set up on the 13-inch coil, which you see here. And I also have it set up on my 11-inch coil here too as well. So I enjoy it. I love the WSA XL2 headphones. I would strongly suggest anybody that has a Deus 2 machine getting those headphones. They really, really, really help with hearing those targets, some of those faint signals. You can use that equalizer on the RC and set it up. It even has the equalizer on the WS6 too. So you can set it up for the best tones for your ears as well. Yeah. I got lucky when I pre-ordered on the dealer's list. So somebody who's got one. I missed that one. John Gurley. Yeah, I know John. John's digging that beep. He's here in South Carolina too, by the way. Greg said that he set up his XP Deus with the 9-inch coil as a WS6 after buying my 11x13. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, and you get two of those WSA XL headphones, and those headphones are just phenomenal. I just can't say enough about them. I've really enjoyed using them, especially on the beach. All right, John Gurley got one. I'll have to shoot John a text or something. Dig that beat. Yeah, great channel too. Great YouTube channel. How many, is there anybody on here other than Greg that set up the WS6? Because I'm telling you, it's once you start using it, especially on the beach, once you start using it, you're going to fall in love with it. And I've really enjoyed it. Now I use my RC whenever I'm relic hunting usually. So you got Northwest or Outdoors and Collectibles. You ordered one. If you got yours set up as on the WS6, or you're talking about the Manticore, I'm sort of missing out on the chat. Waiting to see here. I know there's a little bit of delay. Great, Northwest. That's awesome. Okay, Finders Keepers wants to know, we'll put his up here. He wants to know how much more depth are you guys seeing with that big coil on the Deus 2 versus the 9? I would say the 9-inch, the most that I've been able to get out of the 9-inch on the beach now, and my beach is very mild. I got anywhere right around 12 to 13 sometimes. On the 16, I mean, on the 13-inch, 15 inches, maybe, possibly. And 16, I've gotten, I think that's probably been the best that I've gotten out of the big coil, and that's the 13-inch coil. The 11-inch does really well too. I've seen it get hit up to 14, maybe 15 inches. Yeah, if he says his WS6 is set up, I like the Master for the woods, but the Master is good for parks and fields. Yeah, I love the Master. I really do. And I've got 3 machines. I got my 9-inch set up with the RC. There's the 9-inch. And then I have my 11 and my 13-inch set up with the WS6 for hunting the beach. So that's how I've set up my machines as well. Thank you, Northwest Outdoors and Collectibles. I appreciate you. Thanks for joining in tonight. All right. Greg says that his big coil hit on a 22 bullet, 6 inches of snow and 6 inches underground, and was loud and clear in relic mode. So good. 12 inches clean ground and a small target. Yeah, I was, and I don't know if any of you watched my beach video that I did the other day. I was digging some really tiny targets and they were blowing my eardrums off. And one of them was a good 12 inches down easy. So I agree with you on that, Greg. What's up, Carolina Digger? Thank you for joining in tonight. We've been on for almost 45 minutes. Yeah, the high conductor traces on the Manticore, even if the ID and tone is questionable, may be a good target. True. Carolina Digger says he loves his Deus too. I think you're on the Deus 2 live feed right now. We all love our Deus 2s. Good machine. We talked a little bit about the update too, Carolina. So we're hoping that that update is going to be coming really, really soon. As soon as I find out anything, if XP lets us know anything, I'll be the first to pass it along to you guys. Definitely. So one thing I wanted to mention, CKG sand scoops. I don't know if any of you have ever checked them out, but they make an awesome sand scoop. They're actually sending me one to use. And if you guys haven't checked out their sand scoops, for you guys that are beach hunters, go check them out. CKG sand scoops. I've had one for a long time, and I just got a new one from them. And I hope to be using it real soon on the beach. But go check them out if you haven't already. CKG sand scoops are really, really good. Yeah, with the carbon shaft. Yeah, those guys are awesome, and they're good to work with too. So somebody says, I wonder if the Dino's covers for the Equinox will fit the control box of the Manticore. If he might be able to answer that. If he, can you answer that? Oh, Carolina Digger, he's got a CKG. Yeah, they're awesome, guys. Awesome. It's wider. Okay. If he answered that, so put that up there. He said that it's wider. So yeah. And if he said that he tried to. So finders keepers, it is wider. Yeah. How about on the new 900, Iffy? Does it fit on the new 900 or is it wider too? Yeah, David, definitely check out the day if you're getting them. I don't know. Are you talking about the Manticore or the Deus too? Thanks for joining in too, David. Okay, so you could slice the back and get it to fit on the the 900? Oh, you're saying I think it will fit the 900. Okay, good. So if he says that the cover will fit the 900, yeah, David, you will definitely see a big improvement over the Deus 1 using the Deus 2. So check it out. And I'm telling you, and I just mentioned this a few minutes ago, you know, you can get that WS6 model for $899, and you might even be able to find it a little bit cheaper through some of the dealers if you shop around. Yeah, the WS6 is the Deus 2 RC. The only thing you're missing is an external speaker and the XY screen. The only things you're missing off of the with the WS6. So if a finder's keeper says no, I'll just tell the wife I'm ordering a new one on eBay so I can be in the doghouse for a day or two. Yeah, that's it, finders keepers. We all deal with that for sure, especially with Christmas and everything else coming up. So appreciate it. Appreciate it. If he said that Dino's is already working on a cover for the Manticore, and I'll put that up there. That's what Iffy just said. So again, a lot of things going on. I'm not going to keep you guys. We've been on here for almost 45 minutes. I appreciate everyone stopping by. I appreciate all the support for the channel. Calabash and I should be doing a lot of hunting over the next few weeks. I'm hoping that we can get together and go out on a hunt. Calabash is doing some testing with the Manticore for you guys that want to tune in to him and check him out with that Manticore. I might even join in with him sometime next week. And you know, we're gonna be you know, checking this thing out and seeing if all these things that we're hearing about, seeing if we can get some of the same results. So we're real excited about that. Thank you, finders keepers. I appreciate you guys. You guys are all so great to come on here and talk about metal detectors and talk about these things. Everybody that comes on here is so knowledgeable and they share a lot of great information. I appreciate Iffy being here tonight. Thanks, Iffy. Jay Hopkins, thank you for being here. Jay's a good supporter. Greg, thank you. Sidebusters, thanks a lot. I appreciate all of you. Hope you guys will continue to follow the channel. And I look forward to my next adventure, which should be coming up real soon. Check out Calabash. We're going to be doing another live for you guys that are still on. We're going to be doing another live, I think either Tuesday or Wednesday night. Calabash and I talked about it. So y'all can check us out then. And again, guys, I appreciate all of you. Y'all have a great rest of your weekend. Enjoy your weekend. And I will see you guys really, really soon. Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate it.